Okay, so I got like 3 cups of the corn flour, which is just a Maseca brand, and I've got about 1.5 cups of warm water. This is kind of tricky because I found that if it's too dry, they crack really bad. So I'm going to start off with about 1.5 cups of warm water. I use gloves just so I could get into it. Vegetable oil. I know this part you'll probably hate. A lot of people don't do this. I found that it was way easier to use oil now rather than later because it just, to me, it helps the masa get nice and pliable. But anyway, just start mixing it up. I do small batches, that way it doesn't dry out on me while I'm making the pupusas. But just keep working it really good. You can see. And I can definitely tell I'm going to need more water already. You see how crumbly it is? So I'm going to add more water. This is about another cup, 3/4 cup. You can always add more masa if it's too runny. A lot of people were trying to compare it to a texture of Play-Doh, but Play-Doh's way too thick. Like, you don't want it that thick. The idea is you want it to be like, I use the word pliable, I guess. You want it to be soft enough that you can put it in your hand and flatten it without it cracking. So it obviously needs to be a little moist. I'm going to grab a little bit of salt real quick, which I forgot to do. You don't have to put salt. Obviously, I like salt in the masa part of it, not just counting on the inside. See how nice and soft it is? Just kind of work it around like a dough. And that is it. This is the easiest part by all means. I've already pre-cooked. I cooked basically a small pork shoulder or like carnita pieces. I just like kind of boiled them in manteca for like 3 hours with a little bit of manteca and water. And then I took the lid off and let it reduce down. And then I drained all the fluid and oil and fat. And then I pretty much just shredded it in a food processor. And that's about it for this. The inside's pretty easy. You can use pork, chicken, cheese, beans, all the above. Make your own combinations, whatever. Nothing to it. It's real easy. So this is the crazy part. This is what I was watching people do online, and they were really struggling. This is one of the biggest reasons why I made this video. And that is actually making the pupusa itself. A lot of the El Salvadorians make it by hand. Obviously they're skilled. They've been doing it for, years. I'm just going to get my little station set up here with some saran wrap. Make sure we're still recording. Yeah, okay, cool. So I found that a plate, a bowl with a little flat bottom, a Ziploc bag. If you cut it, I just cut the top off and then I cut the sides so you got a perfect little sheet. This is kind of the same way I make my corn tortillas. I mean, it's so simple. Get my cheese ready. This gets dirty, so let me get my station set up. Okay, so I've got my pork and my cheese ready to go. Let me put my cheese in a bowl. Okay, so you want to start off with a ball a little bit larger than a golf ball. Depending on how big you want to make them, you can definitely make them bigger, you can make them smaller. A golf ball is the best. Now, I do add a little oil here. I just put a little bit on here, just put a little bit in the dough, nothing crazy. It just helps it, it keeps it nice and lubed without it sticking to everything. Put your sheet down, squash it. Now, this is so much easier than trying to do all this stuff by hand, I'm telling you. So you got a nice, perfect little round piece here. I kind of press it down just a little bit in the middle. You take a little bit of pork, and you'll find that if you start to use too much, you know, your instinct is you want to put a lot of it in there, but you just can't put a lot. It's not made to have a lot. So I would say basically just a big tablespoonful of meat, maybe a 3/4 tablespoon of cheese, just to your likings. You can see, and then you just want to kind of work this all together, up, and I just kind of squeeze it together. Try to make sure there's not any holes, and just kind of work it around, work it until I see that all the little cracks are closed. Now they're going to break a little bit. It's just part of it. So now you got like a little pocket. So then I just put it down. It doesn't matter which side you put down. Put it down. This is the part you want to be real gentle on. You just want to kind of push it softly. Kind of eyeball it. Okay, so like mine's already breaking up right there a little bit. Not a big deal at all. Come down a little bit more. Check it out. A little bit more. I want them just a little thinner. And there it is. Now, people try to do this by hand and it takes so long. But that is like the perfect pupusa. And you want it about, that's at least a 1/4 inch thick right there. I hope y'all can see that. That's about a 1/4 inch thick. And I just lay it down right here. I make two sets of them. So I'll do another one for you real quick. A little bit bigger than a golf ball. I made some of these. I made about 50 of them last night in less than 30 minutes. I mean, this, you can really get going quick with this. And like I said, you can see people online trying to make them by hand, and it's just crazy. Unless you've been doing it for a long time, it's just too hard. So a little cheese. I'll roll another one up. So there it is again. Just I kind of cut my hand, bring it together. You can push down a little bit there, and just kind of bring it all together to the top. And then smooth it out. This is where the oil comes in handy, because this is almost like it is almost like Play-Doh in the fact that I can spread it nice and smooth to close up any of the little holes. Put it down. Put your plastic over it. Gently push. And then voila, there it is, the perfect pupusa. Nice. Very nice. They are delicious. Then you'll just put them on the griddle for kind of a medium to high heat, and you want to cook them for at least probably 5 to 7 minutes per side. They actually take a little bit longer than you would think, but it's just kind of trial and error. Enjoy.